In the United States, one of the most acclaimed academic titles a school-age kid could receive is that of National Spelling Bee Champion.
A and Laodicean.
We have a champion. Now you see some emotion from Dad.
The title of being the US's best speller comes with its perks, from prize money to college scholarships to photos with presidents, you name it. But if you were thinking fame, well, that necessarily isn't one of those perks. If I asked you guys watching to name a National Spelling Bee champion off the top of your head, I reckon about 99% of you are drawing a blank right now. But with that said, you might recognize a 4th place contender from 2015.
Iridocyclitis.
It's none other than the Iridocyclitis kid.
Hello, my name is Dev Jaiswal. I am 13 years old and I am from beautiful Louisville, Mississippi.
Iridocyclitis kid's real name is Dev Jaiswal, and thanks to an out-of-context Vine clip, he rose to international fame, not just becoming a living meme, but one of the most well-known National Spelling Bee contestants in history. Dev spelling out the word iridocyclitis became a huge meme on Vine back in 2015. I don't really know why this happened, but I would reckon it had something to do with his robotic voice and laser focus expression.
Iridocyclitis. Iridocyclitis.
Iridocyclitis.
Sure, the meme is all fun and games, but what this clip doesn't show you is the hard work, dedication, and talent it took for Dev to get to the word iridocyclitis in front of a national stage. And of course, it doesn't tell you how the kid handled being a living meme after the fact. Yep, behind every 5-second meme clip, there's a 10 to 15 minute story to be told. You know how I do things over here. This is the legend of Dev, the Iridocyclitis kid. Dev Jaiswal is from the town of Louisville, Mississippi. The town has a small population, just over 6,600 people, and is about as unremarkable as any other small town in the American South. Aside from producing a handful of semi-notable college sports coaches, this place isn't known for much. But that would change in the early 2010s when the Indian-American Jaiswal family began to bring accolades to this humble town with their children's academic accomplishments.
Anachronism.
Anachronism. ANACHRONISM. Anachronism.
Congratulations. Yeah.
The 2010 Mississippi State Spelling Bee champion. And let's give it up for our second place.
In 2010, Dev's sister, an avid speller, would make it to the Scripps National Spelling Bee, a Louisville first. Unfortunately, she didn't win and aged out of competition. 8th grade is the limit. But hope wasn't lost as her younger brother Dev would pick up the Jaiswal Spelling Bee mantle. Inspired by his sister, Dev would begin entering spelling bees in the 5th grade, and he actually caught the attention of his entire state when he made it to the 2012 Mississippi State Spelling Bee and won. He successfully spelled the championship word, mordacious, after a hard-fought gauntlet against other competitors several years older than him. Winning a state spelling bee qualifies a person to enter the prestigious National Scripps Spelling Bee in Washington, D.C. This is a big deal for Dev's case in particular because in the 93-year history of Scripps Spelling Bees, Mississippi has yet to have one representative take the championship. With Dev's help, perhaps this would be the year that Louisville would bring home the gold. In May of 2012, Dev was sent to Washington, D.C. to participate in his first national bee. There were 278 contestants and over $30,000 was on the line. There's little footage archived from this event, but there does exist a clip online that shows Dev speaking after completing round 1 of the bee, a round that requires individuals to take a written test spelling a series of words.
When was that moment for you when you were finally able to...
After I finished taking that test,
Yeah.
the round 1 test, it was so long and it was so hard that when I was finally done, I was like, I can finally get out.
Now you got a smile on
Yeah.
your face.
Yeah.
And you're probably a little bit more relaxed.
I was very tense in the room. In the beginning, it was really hard, and then I thought I wasn't going to do it at all. And then through the middle, I thought, okay, I'll do fine, because it got easier. And then at the end, it got very hard again, so I'm like, I don't know at all how it's going to be. So it got hard, then it got easy, then it got hard again.
After the written test, Dev would make it through round 2 of the Scripps National by successfully spelling the word idiopathic. He then makes it and passes through the 3rd round by correctly spelling the word Qatari. Points gained in these rounds would be added to the score that Dev made in his written test, and this is where we start getting into some unfortunate revelations. If contestants had a total sum of 23 correct spellings, they would be admitted into the semifinals. Well, unfortunately, Dev wouldn't make the cut. He says this on Twitter: "Unfortunately, I am not advancing to the semis. I spelled 17 out of 31 correctly. 23 would advance you. Good luck to all these semifinalists." Dev was out of the competition, but he wasn't discouraged. Determined to get another shot at the National B, Dev begins to enter the state Bs again. After struggling on the local level in 2013 and 2014, Dev finally caught a break as an 8th grader in 2015, where he won the Mississippi State B by successfully spelling the word Eliatic, once again qualifying him for the national competition.
Eliatic. E-L-E-A-T-I-C. Eliatic.
That's it.
How do you feel right now about being the winner?
Amazing.
I'm really, really happy right now and really, really glad that all my hard work paid off.
And when did you win before?
I won in 2012 when I was a 5th grader.
I'm extremely proud and yeah, so excited.
And you helped him out a little bit with it too.
A little bit. Whenever I was home, I tried to quiz him when I could, but he did most of the work himself, so I'm very, very proud of that.
So Dev is now preparing for the National B, and in the few years since the previous one, he had learned some strategies and a lot of wisdom in regard to spelling words that he had never previously encountered. In this interview, he shares some tricks of the trade.
Last word, this word I've never ever seen before.
Eliatic. May I have the definition again?
Of or relating to a school of Greek philosophers who principally asserted the unity of...
And when he told me it was like a school of philosophy and it was Greek, Greek has certain ways they would put letters together. I just kind of use rules in my head that I could remember. It's not just about memorizing completely everything. It's about learning why those letters are put together and why it's spelled the way it is and what other words relate to those words.
On May 24th of 2015, Dev was sent to Washington, D.C. to compete with 283 of the United States best spellers for the $38,000 grand prize and the prestige that comes along with being crowned Scripps B champion. This spelling bee would prove to be one of the most difficult challenges Dev had faced in his life, and the competition was fierce, the words were brutal.
Sharon Schnitter. Sharon Schnitter.
Shit. In the later rounds, competitors were dropping like flies, and Dev was almost one of these flies. But thanks to the skills picked up throughout his spelling career, he managed to stay in the fight thanks to a clutch spelling of the word Bacchius.
Bacchius.
Bacchius? May I have the definition, please?
Bacchius or Bacchius is a metrical foot of 3 syllables, the first short, the other 2 long.
May I have the language of origin?
It's from Latin, which formed it from a Greek word.
Can you use it in a sentence?
Rumor has it that Drake's next mixtape contains a rap in which every verse begins and ends with a Bacchius.
He didn't ask for part of speech, but it should have been clear from the definition. That should clarify the ending of the word. The middle of this word could be sticky, unless he recognizes the Greek name from mythology.
Bacchius. B-A-C-C-H-I-U-S. Bacchius.
Correct.
Thank you.
With that correct spelling, Dev found himself in that last batch of 49 competitors, and the words in this round, to say the least, were extreme. Bacchius is just a small sampling from the basket of abominations the coordinators of this event call words. Here are some other examples. You've got commissurotomy, hypocripiform, cytopoiesis, and sporagiful? Yeah, we'll count that. And of course, you can't have a discussion about challenging words from the 2015 Scripps National B without mentioning the word that would inadvertently make Dev Jaiswal a living meme. Iridocyclitis. What the hell is iridocyclitis? Iridocyclitis is an eye condition in which your iris and the ciliary body become inflamed or swollen. Does that mean anything to you? Well, here's a photo of it. Iridocyclitis is by no means a word that finds itself in the lexicon of an everyday person. But thanks to the viral mechanism of Vine, this word would be ingrained in anybody interested in meme culture. And it was also the word that doomed Dev Jaiswal's chances of winning the 2015 Scripps National B.
Iridocyclitis. Iridocyclitis. Iridocyclitis.
Iridocyclitis is spelled Iridocyclitis.
Iridocyclitis knocked Dev out at 4th place, but he would take his loss gracefully. After making it this far and losing, one might expect Dev to well up in tears and dejectedly slink off stage, but that's not what happened.
Thank you so much, everyone.
He is such a happy kid. Just a good boy, his mom said.
So now we've got a 4th place finisher, Dev Jaiswal, happy with what he accomplished on his way home. Unbeknownst to him at this time, the internet is making a mockery out of him thanks to this iridocyclitis phenomenon.
Iridocyclitis.
It's hard to exactly say what makes this meme funny, but I reckon it has something to do with Dev's laser focus in the clip and of course his rather robotic pronunciation of iridocyclitis. When it's shown out of context of it, being in a spelling bee and all that, it is kind of puzzling and chuckle-worthy to say the least.
Iridocyclitis.
With the nature of this clip being more of a laughing at than laughing with Dev, you might imagine that becoming the butt of an internet joke would take away from the amazing experience that he just went through. But at the time, it seemed like nothing could hinder this young man's cheerful spirit. While he was now forever going to be known as the Iridocyclitis Kid, the warm welcome home from the residents of his small town of Louisville, Mississippi helped Dev realize how appreciated he really was, and how proud those who knew him personally were of him. This is the emotional reception when Dev makes it home.
Who was overcome with emotion as he stepped out of his family's van.
This has been the best experience of my entire life. Thank you for all the support. This is the biggest trophy I could ever receive.
The welcome home to Louisville also included a warm embrace with his father Upendra, whom Dev had not seen in a week.
I'm very proud of this kid. He's a gift from the God that I want to say thank you.
The community here is so great, and I just want to thank everyone. Definitely all of the support I received from all of the friends and friendships I made, and everything, really. I love to represent my state to the best of my ability.
Imagine if we all smiled and laughed and showed the same emotion and appreciation as Dev Jaiswal.
The Iridocyclitis meme lives on in the annals of meme history, but what about Dev himself? What became of him? Dev would never again take the stage for the Scripps National Spelling Bee, as he would age out like his sister did before him. But regardless of this, he would go on to achieve academic greatness. After high school, Dev would be admitted to the prestigious Princeton University, a world-renowned Ivy League school in New Jersey where only 6% of applicants get accepted. According to Dev's public LinkedIn profile, he's currently pursuing a bachelor's degree in psychology with a minor in journalism. Dev would also go on to serve as a spelling bee tutor for younger kids, serving as a mentor, sharing the strategies he had learned in his bee career and passing them on to others. And of course, aside from his dedication to academia, there's also the full-time job of being known as the Iridocyclitis Kid. There are a handful of photos online showing Dev posing with folks that have recognized him in public, indicating that he is a good sport about the meme. And a post from 2017 also shows that he can take a bit of a joke. That said though, he does wish more people saw the full Iridocyclitis segment where he misspells the word and then gets a round of applause by the audience and thanks them and just shows his grateful side. This is what he had to say in an interview from November of 2021. Yeah, I've always sort of felt like there are two camps of people who have seen that video. Originally, it wasn't the whole video that took off from there. It was just a shorter clip, which I've always been confused by because, like, personally, I don't see what's funny. I just said the word.
Iridocyclitis.
He continues, I was pretty happy when the longer video took off of me as well because that was a special moment for me.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Dev will likely continue to achieve great things in life. He's a brilliant guy and I wish him nothing but the best. That, my friends, was the journey of Dev Jaiswal, the Iridocyclitis kid, from a young speller to a living meme to a Princeton University attendee. Let me know what you guys thought about this video down below in the comments section. Make sure you slap like on the video, and if you want to check out another video backstory about a Vine legend, watch my video about the 21 kid. There was a rumor back in the day that he went missing. Is it true? Find out. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. I want to give a major shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys. Wavy Web Surf out. Peace.